love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah, man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Game goes along. And it's something that you would like to bring on the road. And this one up in the air, tracking back is Clarington. Clarington trying to get it, and he does get it. Out number 3. Savannah State. Home, Josh. Savannah State, a big goose egg on the board against the number 1 team in Division II, back-to-back D2 national champion, searching for their 3rd. Did not register a score.
Down goes Rocky Marciano.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1. Previously undefeated number 1 at the mid-major level, Division II Tampa. Credit for that. But Savannah State baseball program, mid-major, Division II out of the SIAC, takes them down. Shut them out, Charles. Shut them out.
Impressive.
Yeah,
Telling you.
Yeah, it wasn't just a nip and tuck. So good news there. Want to give a shout out in terms of what that looks like. I thought it was a good way to open the show. A big win by the Savannah State Tigers baseball programs. That I imagine that'll open some eyes. 7-0 was the final score there. I guess we're officially in baseball now, huh?
We are.
Hey,
welcome to episode 784 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports coach, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. In short, we just call it the HBCU sports pedagogy. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta, along with my co-host, Mike Watson and Charles Bishop. We're filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to KSWH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer. That's multi-Hall of Famer, Ralph Cooper, in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. With that being said, Charles, how you doing today?
Doing well, Doc. I want to just give a quick shout out to Travis Jerome, give me an opportunity to do HBCU Power Series a couple weeks back, and then this past weekend, great opportunity to call our basketball game down at Alcorn. So Charles Edmonds was very helpful with regards to notes and everything in regards to this past weekend. So shout out to the good people at Alcorn. Hospitality was tremendous down there this past weekend. Yes,
indeed. Congratulations on that. I got to watch and listen to that. Did a good job, man. Just being here, man. I got big comments on my show. They play-by-play, writing articles, professors, and what did you say there?
We doing a little something.
Yeah, just a little something. And we tell them we do a little something. We just put in that word. Wilton, how you doing today? I see you ain't got the jacket on. You see, boy, just sending a little message. A little message.
I'm not, and that's a good message too. We need it now more than ever. Just point that out to add some accent to that.
Really, I like that. Appreciate you. Know what's up. With that being said, how are you doing today?
I am doing good, Doc. I am trying to just get back into the normal flow of things. I feel like these last 2 weeks, really the last 2.5 weeks, have been really up and down. Just with everything going on in sports, because we're in that season where like basketball is regular season is slowly coming to an end, and the matchups just get that much bigger. And then we're really getting into that busy time of the year for basketball. Oh, by the way, y'all just alluded to it. Baseball is like here, and it's about to get, ramped up in the month of March when you start talking about conference play. So, I mean, it's just so much good sporting events going on. I'm just excited to be able to watch it unfold.
Congratulations on the 10K, too.
I appreciate that, Charles.
Yeah, everybody can't do all that. So big time.
You ain't got that right.
Congratulations. I'm not even ready to do the bike. And what I'm saying, I'm talking about moving bike. I sit down in there and I do the other bike. Now I get 500, 550, 600 calories. But yeah, that other stuff is a little adventurous for me. We're going to keep it safe. With that being said, let me go to you, David L. Rhodes. How are you doing today?
I got to see outside today. I just recovered we're still recovering from the blizzard of 2026. Broke the record, about 39 inches of snow today. Looked at 39 inches of snow. Mine hit about 3 feet. Car was buried, That was a fun thing to get my car out of that bank, but I'm here. Wow. Haven't left my house. I left my apartment building, but I have not left the region of my apartment.
You got to show us some pictures, folks. All we get to see is a couple of news things
and some ice.
To talk to somebody,
which I just had ice, sir.
Yeah, we did. Like for real.
Listen, I'll take that right now with what I had to deal with today.
Yeah, I bet.
I couldn't even I went yesterday was when it was real yesterday. I walked outside, the wind was blowing 60-mile-an-hour wind, snow going every direction, still snowing down. They're all cleared up today, but now you have in most places in the region 30 to 39 inches of snow. Where's it gonna go? And it's supposed to snow tomorrow.
Oh wow.
At least it's only be like 3 inches. So it's not it ain't 39, but yeah.
It's enough. It's more than 6 or 12.
It's snow period.
We need like 5 consecutive warm days, and I still don't think the snow is gonna be here. We're gonna be staring at this thing till April, man. April, May.
Wow.
Well, let's get into it. You get a chance for the end of the first segment. You can tease us with some pictures so we can really be like, oh. With that being said, let me go back to you, Charles. What's on your mind today?
Let's start off with the SWAC Women's Basketball Weekly Awards. As we take a look at the SWAC, they tabbed Texas Southern's Talia Logwood, as well as Arkansas Pine Bluff's Kenyatta Gardner for the SWAC Women's Basketball Weekly Awards. And the Player of the Week, also Newcomer of the Week, Talia Logwood, impressed this past week during the competition as she led the league in points per game. She averaged 32.5 points per game to go along with 7.5 rebounds while shooting 64% from three-point range. Impact Player of the Week was Kenyatta Gardner. She averaged nearly a double-double in a pair of victories for the Lady Lions during this past week of league competition. She shot 65%, 17 of 26 from the floor, while averaging 20.5 points per game and 8 rebounds per game. So kudos to those young ladies in regards to winning the SWAC Players of the Week.
Let me go to you, Wilton Jackson II, as properly said. What's on your mind?
So, Doc, I get into the MEAC Women's Players of the Week. We're going to start with Howard Ford. Now Miller was named the MEAC Player of the Week. The Maryland Eastern Shore forward, and also Maryland Eastern Shore forward Kayla Perry was named Rookie of the Week, while Morgan State's Michaela Bogans earned Defensive Player of the Week honors. Miller notched her third double-double of the season with 15 points and 12 rebounds, also contributing 4 steals, 3 assists, and a block in a 66-58 win over North Carolina Central. Perry grabbed 10 rebounds, blocked 2 shots, and added 2 steals alongside 8 points in a 66-64 win at Coppin State. And then Bogans totaled a career-high 10 steals in a double-double performance with 11 points in a win versus South Carolina State, adding 5 assists and 4 rebounds.
Good stuff. Congratulations to those women, both of the SWAC and the MEAC. Let me go to you, David. What's on your mind in terms of news of the week?
I'm going to shout out some champions, man. Shout out to North Carolina A&T, the men's side, who won and repeat as CIAA indoor track and field champions. The final score, North Carolina A&T was at 175. Northeastern was at 121. Hampton was 4th place at 98. So shout out to them. And A&T also placed 3rd on the women's side. And Hampton placed 4th. Oh, no, they placed 2nd on the women's side. So shout out to them for that as well. So they were close. We got to get some more distance runners in our realm, man. But also shout out to the FAMU women for winning the indoor track and field title, and shout out to Howard's winning 5 straight MEAC indoor titles.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
The running joke I have is since A&T left, y'all have won every single one. Every single one.
Yeah, some people talk about y'all coming back. Some folks like not so fast.
No. We gotta keep you right out of here, man.
I think there's 2 in a row for FAMU.
It is. Oh, shout out to FAMU for 2 in a row. But overall, man, I went to the CIAA championships over the weekend. It was originally supposed to be a 2-day affair for Sunday and Monday, but because of the weather, they ended up condensing everything into one day.
Oh, wow.
Because normally what you'll see is that, A&T starts behind because all the field events start and the distance running events start.
Right.
But this time it was so condensed and you had events going on at the same time. So once A&T took that lead, they pretty much held it the whole way. They just held it the whole way. Because
they didn't have to worry about going down the backstretch.
No, it was pretty much a done deal. Like I ended up leaving at 2:30. I ended around 6. I left at 2:30 to get back home before the snowstorm started. And we were already up by like 60.
Good stuff.
So it was a dominant performance by the men. So shout out to them.
Good stuff. Let me go back to you, Charles. Anything else you want to add? Got breaking it down for the championships, men's and women's. Details there.
Yeah, baseball.
I was going to say, I wonder if you was going to go back to baseball.
Oh, yeah. Iconic. Wrigley Field to host the first ever Chicago HBCU Classic. And this comes to us from HBCU Sports. Says HBCU Baseball is coming to the most iconic venue in America this spring. Is Wrigley Field is set to make history this spring as it welcomes its first ever Chicago HBCU Classic, which will feature Prairie View as well as Alabama A&M on Saturday, May 2nd. So kudos, Chicago got Alabama A&M and Prairie View coming up there to play a little baseball.
I like it. Hey, Charles, sounds like a road trip. I might have to make.
I looked at something May 2nd.
Hadn't been really. Yeah, it might be a reason to figure out how to get there.
I know, right?
I like that. David, what else is on your mind?
I missed one championship. The Lady Aggies, who still plays one more sport in the MEAC, has won their 6th consecutive bowling regular season title.
Shame on you. Shame
on me. So many champions, man. What can I do?
You like this time of the year?
Oh yeah, man, because it's not football season right now. But I think it'll be a little bit different upcoming year.
I didn't say it.
Dog, you wrong for that.
No, listen. There's some schools that ain't won a title in over 1,000 days, man. It's about perspective.
That's true.
It's about perspective, man.
See, Wilton, you're not the only one I pick on here. What's on your mind? What else is on your mind before we take this first break?
So, Doc, I'm sure all of y'all know we have the CIAA tournament going on. The single elimination tournament will be held at CFG Bank Arena in Baltimore, Maryland, basically starting today through Saturday, February 28th. Championship Saturday will feature the women's title game at 1 p.m., followed by the men's championship at 4 p.m. Each bracket is seeded based on division record. If division records are tied, the tiebreakers are head-to-head results, followed by conference win percentage and then head-to-head point differential. But, of course, those games have already started today. The men's games will be this evening. Some of the ladies have already played. I think 3 games have already been played today, or at least 2, and it's 1 more tonight, or that may be going on right now.
Good stuff. Let me add on to that. That's good information. We'll talk a little bit about the seating for the men on Thursday. They'll deep into it, and we'll find out what folks are doing. Yeah. But in terms of the seating going in for the women, North Division starting at the bottom is number 6, Lincoln University of Pennsylvania. Number 5 is Elizabeth City State. Number 4 is Bluefield State. Number 3 is Virginia Union. Number 2 is Virginia State. And number 1 is Bowie State, as they snuck in there at the end. Southern Division, 6 is Johnson C. Smith. Number 5 is Shaw. Number 4 is Livingstone. And number 3 is Claflin. Number 2 is Fayetteville State. And number 1 is Winston-Salem State. That's the 2 there. Fascinating to see how that works out in terms of the bracket. Good information there. With that being said, I did want to sneak in one more on women's side, which is HBCU coach, Xavier to be exact, becomes Louisiana's all-time wins leader. This is coming out of HBCU Game Day. For decades, Louisiana women's basketball has been defined by the legacy powers in a lot of ways. Now the winningest coach in the state history is from an HBCU. That is Bo Brada. Some of you might have seen some of the footage out there of how his ladies showered him in terms of records as he got it done. In the process, he surpassed former Tulane coach Lisa Stockton's 591 career victories and moved beyond to 600 wins overall. Big time, big time. He is quoted as saying, "I talked to her the day after she retired," Browder said to WGNO New Orleans. Quote, "Sent her a text message just saying, 'Congratulations, looks like your record is going to stay a long time and I'm right behind you.' But at the end of the day, records are meant to be broken. It's going to be somebody who breaks the record also." So big time when you talk about breaking that record of 591 and moving on to Bo Browder in terms of what he was able to do. Kudos, kudos, kudos. Also stated here was with that 54-39 victory of Xavier over Texas College, victory that marked more than another conference win. It cemented his place at the top of Louisiana records book. That's pretty nice. Quote, "That is special that I had the opportunity to get to 600, but I also have an opportunity to have the celebration against the same team," end quote. Browder said, "I'm just a blessed man, and I don't take that for granted," end quote. Perfect way to go to our first break, turn it on the other side, and we'll get into some of those rankings and see what that looks like as we look at the mid-major rankings and see what does it mean as we move forward. Let's take our first break and come back on the other side and look just at the mid-major top 5. We'll talk about those, if any, dropped out, receiving votes, and see what these gentlemen have to say about the top 5. We'll be right.
Over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a state, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Compress the analytic data with your hip-hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, as he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. with Charles Bishop, Wilton Jackson II, and David L. Rhodes. With that being said, let's get into the mid-major top 5. And week number 8 is rolling through the season. Can you believe it? As you said earlier, Wilton, we are already in the basketball tournament for CIAA with some games being played.
Right.
Next up is the SIAC, and the mix is the HBCU AC in terms of all HBCU conference basketball-wise. That is obviously at the NAIA level. So we'll talk about these rankings and see who can knock off a tournament championship. We have regular season championships to be noted, whether it's division or overall conference standings. We'll go through that a little bit as well and start acknowledging that. Then we'll come back next segment to talk a little bit about the major division as we're getting some clarification in some area and then maybe not in some others.
Before we do that.
Yep, let's bring it up. What you got?
This.
Oh, my goodness. I told you.
That was yesterday.
No parts of that.
That was yesterday.
And it looks like a roller coaster slide.
A slide.
Let me tell you, because somebody tried to shovel initially, but that's how much more snow with the drifting and the snow that was still dropping. Like this was like mid-afternoon yesterday. Like it was still snow. At this point, the Blizzard of 78 record was broken.
Oh,
But we already broke it at that point. But let's get to the mid-major ranking before I scare y'all too much.
And you know it, but as you're doing that, you know what that I thought he went over there to see the Olympics for a minute. That's what I thought.
Oh yeah, man. Look, man, this would have been the perfect place to do everything you want with the exception of curling. You would have been good to go. You would have been good to go, man.
For real. Dropped out this week is nobody did. With that, let's get into receiving votes and see what stirred up there. Bowie State Lady Bulldogs 18-7, 10-5. They sneak into that ranking right below the top 5 as they close with a division win, championship if you would. Lane Lady Dragons sit at 18-5, 17-5, 26 points. Oakwood Lady Ambassadors sit at 16-8, 10-2. You have Wiley Lady Wildcats doing their thing at 13-7, 9-3, and Paul Quinn Lady Tigers still in the mix in terms of top 10 receiving the last votes that we share here, 14-10, 8-4 with 15 points. With that being said, let's get into the top 5. This is going to be boring. Cavil State Lady Broncos sit at 19-4, 13-3, 36 points at number 5. I just had to keep it real. At number 4, Miles Later Golden Bears are 22-5, 20-4, 43 points at number 4. Number 3 is Edward Water Lady Tigers on a win streak, showing out, winning the division. First time a team outside of Georgia in the last half dozen years, if you would, or so, has won the division over there. So shout out to the Lady Tigers of Edward Waters. Boy, their program is rolling. 23 wins to do it in class fashion, 23-4. 21-3 in the conference, one first place vote, 56 points, but they remain at number 3 because you have number 2, Langston Lady Lions, solid as well, 24-4, 18-4, 3 first place votes, 64 points, and at the 2 spot. And then you have number 1, the Winston-Salem State Lady Rams sit at 23-3, 14-2, 5 first place votes, 66 points. Number 1 ranking is they remain. They're in that number 1 spot, winning the Southern Division. Get a chance to go into CIAA with the number 1 seed, not just division, but overall for a lot of folks. Number 1 in the poll ranking. So this is where it may get a little bit interesting because the polls were the same as they were last week, with just people adding wins, essentially, in the top 5. So let me go to Wilton. I'm going to let him start things off. He's going to be the star of the show today. We'll let him get into it first to see if he has some drama that he wants to share with the top 5.
I hate to disappoint you, Doc. I don't have any drama. I mean, you said it like 5 seconds ago. This is probably going to be pretty boring. I mean, because most of these teams, like you said, have won. They added wins to their current records. I mean, Winston-Salem State has solidified itself as the number 1 team. We know that. We know what Langston has done on the hardwood. Edward Waters is still playing strong. I think more so for me, when I'm looking at this top 5, it's just like, okay, specifically when you start talking about teams like Fayetteville State, they're sitting at number 5, but they'll play tomorrow in the quarterfinals of the CIAA tournament. So we'll learn a lot more about Fayetteville State and Winston-Salem tomorrow because both of them will play on tomorrow. So right now, like I said, these are your bona fide top 5 teams on the D2 level. I mean, some may say, Lane can make a case. They received votes. But as far as like these 5 teams that we've talked about in recent weeks, these are the top 5. There's no debate toward that.
I like it. Good stuff. I know y'all in other groups like to focus on Division 2, but we're going to give a little love to NIA. So I'm glad you shouted out Langston Lady Lions.
Yeah.
I do have to ask you this. Maybe we get some interest here. Edward Waters, Lady Tigers versus Winston-Salem State Lady Rams. Who you giving the edge to?
That's going to be a good game. That's going to be a real good game. But I'm going to say
neutral site.
It is neutral site. And so I'll say this. I think that Edward Waters gives Winston-Salem State a really strong fight. But I think because Winston-Salem State has lost a couple games this season and in the latter part of the season, I think they're going to be battle tested and prepared for a potential matchup should that have been the case.
Charles was good with his eyes today, so I'm going to save him for last. And he didn't tell no stories with his eyes. They say tell no lies. I'm going to go with Dave. What are your thoughts on the top 5?
The fact that you didn't have to change anything from last week says everything you need to know, right? Like, I think these are the 5. I agree with Wilton with regards to that. I'm just hoping we see that collision course with Winston and Fayetteville State. We gotta see that collision course.
Like this.
Yeah, we gotta see that collision course. I'm gonna be crushed if I can't see that collision course on ESPN Plus. Like, we gotta see that collision course.
I need it in my life. 20+ wins for both programs by then. That would be pretty awesome. Charles, going to let you save it for last. What are your thoughts on the top 5?
I guess the only drama is, does Winston-Salem State take any hangover into the tournament? It kind of turned my head that they dropped the game with the Livingstone on the way in. Victory lap maybe. I'm not sure what it was, but that they did drop a game on the way to the tournament. So, you don't want to have those, vibes going into the tournament. But, yeah, I do want to see Winston-Salem State and Fayetteville State. I want to see them lock horns in the tournament. But that was a curiosity to me, at least, that they dropped one that I did not, didn't see that on my radar.
I understand it. Same question for you. Edward Water Lady Tigers and Winston-Salem State Lady Rams. Which direction you going? Neutral site?
Neutral site, I might lean towards Edward Water. Yeah, I might lean towards Edward Waters. I don't know. I think I don't know. Just a couple of. I know I'm incurring the wrath of the Ramuley.
No, that's fine. They ain't that many of them. Don't worry about it, man. You ain't got to worry about that. Don't worry about all that. Don't worry about all that, man. You good.
But I don't know. I like the basketball being played in the SIAC.
I don't know if this is fair for Steven, but Dave, you get to break it. It's 1-1. Who are you going with?
I'm going with Edward Waters, and you know why.
Let's take a last break. Good way to
do it. Winston-Salem State.
Yeah, that was cold.
Look, I can admit when I'm biased, sir. I can admit when I'm biased.
I like the way you said it, and you know why. Let's take a second break and come back on the other side and get in the major division and see if Steve puts anything to let us know his thoughts. Other than that, he'll come back and watch it if he's not doing it live. He might even do a show for you, Dave.
We'll be right back.
Break.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU Sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories, officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We're probably safe. He's down there up there in Baltimore, I should say, at the CIAA tournament.
He'll just post it later. Don't fret. He will find time. Do not fret. Okay, he's going to find time.
Man, I love North Carolina. All those folks associated. Man, there's some things that you just can't miss if you're in HBCU sports. Obviously, that's a FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, Southern and Jackson. Even Alcorn and Jackson is a nice one. But there's a couple of out there that A&T and Central, and then Winston-Salem State. Little brother, I might get something with that one. They find their way in the mix and be like, nah, we big too.
Yeah. Okay.
That Hampton Howard, that's on a different level.
That's the bougie bowl right there. That's the bougie bowl. They the bougie bowl. I
wouldn't say, but it's different.
It's different.
Into it. You talk about fighting. So like, all right, come over here. Let's play some spade. Well, no, we don't.
They fighting over parking spaces over there in Hampton and Howard, man. Oh my God.
Big time. Man, let's get into this poll ranking for the women. Week number 8 major division. Speaking of a good one, Prairie View and Texas Southern, man, they get in early. One thing I do want to get in before we get into this, and we maybe talk about it a little more in the next segment, the rivalries in the SWAC and the lack of rivalries in a lot of ways in the MEAC. One of the things I thought about the rivalries in the SWAC is a lot of those rivalries actually beget SWAC framework. They started before both teams were members of the SWAC in a lot of ways, which is unique when you think about that. But as we talk about that, we have some SWAC, some MEAC schools to talk about on the women's side. Let's see. Nobody dropped out this week. Let's get into those receiving votes. We have Southern Jaguars sit at 10-4, 36 points. Maryland Eastern Shore Hawks, UMES at 8-3. In terms of conference play, Coppin State Eagles catching fire as late at 6-5, 16 points. UAPB Golden Lions have got back to some wins as they are 8-7 with 15 points. Jackson State Tigers had a big win against Alcorn on the road. I got to see that game as I listened to Charles stay right down the road and call it straight. He did a good job in terms of not getting emotional. Very professional. But I could cheer a little bit for him. That was a big win by the Tigers in terms of how they've been playing. So that was fascinating. Let's look at the top 5. Now, I'll start it out like this. You do have this same top 5 in there. Little changes here. You got 3 out of the SWAC and 2 out of the MEAC. So let's see where they're set. At number 5, you have Alabama State Hornets, 14-12, 11-4, 41 points. 5th as 2 weeks in a row. Very solid. Probably a surprise to a lot of folks in terms of what the Hornets are doing this season. First-year coach. You talking about getting it right early. 14-12, 11-4, 41 points. In the fifth position, that showdown between Alabama State, Alabama A&M should be interesting at the end of the year.
That would be the game of the week.
Standings, and that first matchup in Mobile was a good one. A&M did what they needed to do to close out late in the game, but it was nip and tuck all through. At number 4, you have the Alcorn State Braves. They lost a tough one, but they're staying in the mix at 14-11, 11-3, 59 points, so they slide a spot. Giving a little breathing room, if you would, to Alabama A&M because of that loss to Jackson State. At number 3, Norfolk State Spartans, just when you wanted to throw that dirt on them and bury them, they said, hold on, we play basketball over here. They're at 14-12 and 9-2, 61 points. They move up a slot this week as they start to make their move. We'll see what that looks like, moving from 4 to 3. And right above them is the team that they're chasing, which is the Howard Bison. 20 wins on the season. First 21-win team on the women's mid-major side of things. 20-7 overall, 10-1 in the conference race. 2 first-place votes, 74 points. But they remain in the second spot because Alabama A&M Bulldogs 15-9, 14-1. 6 first-place votes, 78 points, ranking number 1. Good thing is, Charles, when you talk about the Alabama A&M Bulldogs, as they remain in the top spot in week number 8, I get to go see the Thursday games in the MEAC. So I'm fascinated to see what that looks like. And then I'll get on down to Atlanta on Friday. So I get a mix of a little bit of both. So I'm excited to get ready to get into some basketball tournament action. Major division this year. Couldn't get into it and get those mid-majors. I got to find a way to get back to some of those events. But this Dean be Deaning. With that being said, I'm going to start with you, Charles. What are your thoughts in terms of the top 5? You've been really good this week in terms of your eyes, so I'm going to allow you to go first.
Yeah, I think Alabama A&M definitely has separated themselves from the pack in the SWAC. They are, I think above everyone. I kind of fight a little bit with Howard and Alabama A&M 1 and 2 because, I think that's an accomplishment to be 20-7 and just kind of looking at the schedule of both. I mean, they're pretty even. That's a hard 1-2 to take a look at A&M and Howard. So you could go either way with 1 or 2 right there. But Norfolk State, Alcorn, Alabama State, I think the surprises are 3, 4, and 5. From taking a look at what Norfolk State was and where they struggled and now where they fought themselves.
I agree. Good points.
Into the
where people thought they would start. Yes.
Top 5, exactly. That's pretty good. And it speaks a lot about the program that they have and sort of the ability that they have to say that we're Norfolk State. So I think that goes a long way. Surprising loss, I think, with Alcorn and Jackson State. Rivalry game. But kudos to Coach Martin Richards with regards to Jackson State going to Alcorn and getting that win. I thought with some of the player defections, players will be down a little bit, but they were more gritty and more scrappy than I've seen them all season. Yeah, so they could be sort of a flying ointment as we get towards SWAC tournament. They continue kind of looking like that.
Sometimes you get that addition by subtraction, and maybe they just decided to come together and said, hey, we're going to do what we can, and look what happens. So great points when you talk about that. Let's get into it. Alabama A&M Howard matchup. Where are you going? Neutral site. Who you picking in the neutral site game when you have Howard Bison against Alabama A&M Bulldogs?
I'm fighting. I go with the Bulldogs.
Okay. I see you. David, where are you in terms of the top 5? Any concerns with you?
I'm flipping Howard and Alabama A&M. Other than that, everything else is fine. The thing about Howard, I think the quality wins that they had out of conference, beating Providence at Providence, going undefeated in the CIAA against a team that in a conference that a mid-major conference that's probably going to get a 14 seed. Their best team's more likely going to get a 14 seed or a 13 seed in the women's tournament. Like to go undefeated in that conference on top of beating PC at PC, and I was at that game. I think it's kind of tough to put Howard number 1.
So you look at the overall strength.
Yep. beat
So
Cincinnati.
you would go with Howard, Alabama A&M, obviously in a neutral site if you're pulling that early. If Howard doesn't win the regular season or tournament, do you still keep them number one if Alabama A&M does the double-double or gets one of the two?
I would, but I'm gonna be honest. Howard right now is playing on such a higher level right now on the ladies' side. Like I think after they took that loss in conference, it became personal to them. Because I was shocked they lost the game. It became very personal to them, and they've been running through the rest of the conference.
So you saying they are going to get one?
They're going to get in, and there'll be some tough discussions about whether or not they should be a 16 seed. To be honest with you, like I think when you talk about the quality ones that they've had, you can argue they should get like higher than the 16 seed or higher than the playing game.
I agree with that if they win it, but one bid lead, that's the challenge. Wilton, where are you with the top five? You along with Charles, or you got the top two mix, or are you going to throw some other?
I kind of take pieces from both. I'll start from the bottom. Alabama State, I'm gonna be honest, no one expected them to be exactly where they are in year one with the new coach. They've won 4 straight. I will sneak this in though. Don't be surprised if Southern finds themselves still around in the mix. Like that's just a team I just can't let go off. I think
they're essentially number 6. They're just outside, and even when you look at the points to your points, you're talking about 41 versus 36. I think the edge you get is Alabama State went on the road and beat them, but that's just that matchup and where they are with similar conference records tied in the loss columns, 11-4, 10-4. So great point you make there when you talk about it. They're just
separated by a few points. And then when you look at Alcorn, to Charles' point, I think that was a really motivated Jackson State team that came in and really wanted that game more than Alcorn did. Surprisingly, though, because you would think if you're Alcorn, you're trying to keep pace with Alabama A&M. You're trying to get the best seed. You would like to probably be a number 1 seed going into the SWAC tournament, but Jackson State was just hungrier for a win. And to what Charles said, sometimes you just have a team that if it hasn't always been right throughout the season, sometimes it could take one game to just kind of come together and get a win. You never know what kind of momentum it could bring for you going into the end of the season and going into the SWAC tournament. So not a necessarily great loss for Alcorn, but it could be a wake-up call for Nate Gilbert and his team to say, hey, we got to be on our P's and Q's every single game. Norfolk State, in the very beginning, we were saying we didn't know what this team was going to be. After the way that they started this season, they are absolutely rolling. Definitely bona fide second-best team in the MEAC behind Howard. And when you look at 1 and 2, I got to side with Dave. And as much as I love what Alabama A&M is doing and all the great things that they've been able to do, the wins, the double-digit wins and things of that nature, I definitely feel like I lean a little bit more toward the full overall schedule, who they've played, the strength of that schedule. I would have to put Howard over Alabama A&M. But if to the question that you asked both of them, Doc, who would win that game? Here's the thing. Alabama A&M, they look strong, but then sometimes they have issues with turnovers and how that comes out. Now, rebounding Jada Belton, I mean, my gosh, like she is an absolute dog. But when I think about this Howard team, you talk about fully complete team in multiple positions. They are a dangerous team. I wouldn't be surprised, to Dave's point, if they got a 14 seed in this tournament. Should they win the MEAC tournament and go on to the NCAA tournament.
They gotta dominate though. Like they have to run through everybody because the net of the rest of the teams are so low. So they gotta show like pure dominance, and they should be able to get out of the 16 seed. Because I would love to see Alabama A&M and Howard play each other, but not with a 16 seed matchup. Because
I agree.
I don't want to see that. Like I would love to see the matchup, no question about it. But I think Howard is really good. Like if you've never seen Howard play, oh my goodness gracious.
I agree with you. I think that Norfolk State though and Howard final would be tougher than you would want to believe. Cinema. With that, let's take our last break, come back on the other side, and let's get into it a little bit. Talk about some key matchups. Get your thoughts on my comments in terms of your thoughts on rivalries. We'll be right back after this last break.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
And we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
Now, what about HBCUs? You mentioned.
Absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you got to make sure they're properly funded. You know, the real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs. And Comcast did not accept it. And that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay. That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
Right? I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay.
There's a shot. It might be. It could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, and all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Movement.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a lot, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Any key matchups for you, Charles, that you want to talk about going into this week for the MEAC or SWAC? What's on your mind in either of those leagues for the women?
I want to see Prairie get a win. Either Alcorn or Jackson State. They come to Prairie. I want to see can they get a win in league play. That is interesting to me. And then obviously A&M and Alabama State. Those are the ones that jump out for me.
Yeah, I was looking at Jackson State, but after that win against Alcorn,
I know. I thought they were wounded animals. So, yeah.
They were kind of sliding, but just when you want to put some rocks over Jackson State, boy, it's nothing to get you mind ready in a rivalry game. But you're right. It's a good one to look at that. In terms of that matchup, the FAMU and Southern should be fun, because of the history, a lot of ways between those two schools in terms of football, but it bleeds over in basketball, and fascinating to see what that looks like. FAMU got Southern earlier, kind of started to rally them in terms of that mix. I'm interested in that. But with that being said, Wilton, what direction are you going?
So in looking at the SWAC, FAMU Southern definitely will have my eyes on that game. Also, don't sleep on the fact of the FAMU and the Grambling game on Saturday. The Grambling is a team that, while they're not necessarily at the top, they're somewhere in that middle pack. But one thing about it, you start thinking about a coach who has experience with a Grambling team that could actually potentially, who knows? I feel like every year we talk about the SWAC tournament, we think that the top teams are going to always move up to the next rounds automatically. And sometimes I feel like every year it's always some team that either scares a top team or gets there and maybe shakes a few things up. So I would keep an eye on that one as well. But I think more so than anything from the women's side, more so you really think about FAMU and Southern for the most part.
Good stuff. David, what about yourself?
It's statement season time for Howard. I mean, they're playing Coppin State this weekend up at Burr. So it's going to be interesting to see if Coppin can keep it close. I mean, they're fourth in the conference right now, but can they keep it close against Howard? Because that's likely going to be your first opponent in the tournament. So can they keep it interesting? But Howard has Coppin and Morgan coming up this weekend, and then they're going to close out their season against Norfolk State, which most likely won't be for the title. But, because by the time the weekend ends, I think Howard's going to clinch the regular season title. So,
yeah, in terms of the top teams on the women's side, I'm not sure if you see any forks in the road. That Thursday, as you said, Coppin at Howard. You have Norfolk State at Morgan State, and then Saturday, you have Norfolk State at Coppin, and then Howard at Morgan State. Maybe a little something there just because of how people feel about the matchup.
More intriguing on the men's side. I mean, but depending on
that'll where it'll get fun. On the women's side, I don't think so, but just try to stir it up a little bit.
It'll be a double header, so that'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be good because they'll come in for the ladies' game, and then they'll roll right into the men's side.
I know we're going to wrap it up before the hour today, so I did want to get a little bit into this. You think about the rivalries that are huge in the MEAC. Not so much for the MEAC, particularly as the conference churning has taken place, But when you think about the rivalry, which is obvious, the way they talk about North Carolina A&T, and North Carolina Central, that's intriguing to me because you had the movement for Central, moving up and starting the MEAC at the same time. And big-time rivals when they're in Division II and CIAA, but then Central leaves and they play D2, even though they played multiple sports, kept the rival there, but it's different. They weren't in the same conference. They only have been in the same conference for a short period of time, whether it's CIAA, longer period of time, really short in the MEAC. And then obviously with the change with A&T makes that interesting in some ways. But you don't naturally see those in-state rivals. Even Howard and Hampton. Hampton was D2 for the longest. They come up. So you don't have that. So it's always intriguing to me when I started thinking about the rivals. So I went in deeper, and I'd say it's naturally some two-state rivals. You think about the SWAC, but when I took a deeper look, I was like, it's not just they were rivals in the SWAC. These teams have been rivals before that. I mean, Prairie founds the conference. Texas Southern doesn't join until the 50s. You go in terms of Grambling and Southern. You don't really think about it, but Southern comes in the 30s. Grambling doesn't come into the 50s.
58.
Yeah, 58 to be exact. Right before that, they were in the Western Conference. Even when you go to Jackson and you think about Jackson State Alcorn, obviously without Jackson comes in the 50s, Alcorn in the 60s. Before that, you had Jackson in the Midwest. You had Alcorn in the different conference. You go to Alabama, and you're like, what? And this is not to leave out Mississippi Valley State, but still they come in the SWAC even in 62 if you want. You go to Alabama, Alabama State's been in this conference a long time. They're 82, but you don't get A&M into the conference until 99. Even when you go to Florida, the new guys on the block, if you would, you got FAMU, Bethune-Cookman. They were in different conferences. Mm-hmm. They joined the MEAC, right? And so once they joined the MEAC, you kind of see them moving together. Obviously, you had the foray with FAMU and Bethune-Cookman took steady in terms of FAMU moving to FBS, but that's different there. So it's something I want you to kind of opine on. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk about a little more on Thursdays. Those that are able to join, but I wanted you to think about that. That being said, let's give it a close. Thank you for listening inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta, Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, come from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Watcher and Charles Bishop. Today we had Wilton Jackson II and David L. Rhodes spinning it for us to make sure we get our production out. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop every Tuesday and Thursday. So we'll be back on Thursday. Have a little hiccup, so we'll make sure that you're there. Obviously, we have the edition of the Independents. They'll be with you to give you some updates on what's taking place They'll get a chance to really shine, and because of those championships on the independent side, at least A&T, I'll get a mix in there. And then you have Tennessee State on the men's side in terms of a championship tie for first place in the OVC. We'll see what that looks going down the stretch. Obviously, they finished the season a week early, too. Their conference is a week before the MEAC and SWAC, so we'll know that information. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. That's DrKenyatta. That's Threads, Facebook, and Instagram. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles.
Horse.
Wilton.
Lecture.
David.
Dismissed.